Now, this week capped the 1 year anniversary of the Black is Beautiful initiative, which I believe that was on the 1st of June. For those who don't remember, this initiative started with the San Antonio based Weathered Souls Brewery, headed by Marcus Baskerville, which we did have him on our show. He provided a base stout recipe for breweries who were willing to make it, so long as they donated the proceeds from the sales to local organizations, charities, foundations that support equality, inclusion, and social justice reform. With a year under the effort's belt, it's still going strong. We've got, over 1,200 breweries worldwide that have either have made a rendition or continuing the effort by making new offerings. We do have a couple breweries that are local here that are planning on releasing some barrel-aged versions of the beer that they made last year that will be coming out, and quite a few that are planning on making this a yearly thing. Now, the effort not only points towards social justice, but also with the lack of diversity in the craft beer world, which is something we are still dealing with, and also a subject that we talked to Aaron Jose about, a documentarian of One Pint at a Time, which will be coming out this fall. Now, as Marcus has stated in an NPR article, he believes there were still only two Black brewers in the state of Texas, where there's like 380 breweries there, and he himself is the only Black owner. I guess from your perspectives and all the conversations that we've had from Marcus to shout out to Bruise Brothers for the culture with Harry, Wayne, and Sasha, and talking to Aaron. In terms of progress, do you guys see that there's progress being made? And is the progress that you're seeing, or maybe not seeing, how can it be improved? I am going to start with Wendy on that one.
So the progress that I see is that we're talking about it now. Whereas a few years ago, this wasn't something that we would bring up as often. So I think that yes, there is progress. I think there is still a lot more that needs to be done. We need to figure out a way to bring this into not just the beer industry though, because while the brewing industry, we're seeing the lack of diversity. Part of the reason that we don't have the black brewery owners, it sounds funny to say black owner, I think, to say, or the reason that we don't have as many brewery owners who are Black is because they're facing other challenges in different industries in getting loans and getting the equipment they need, things like that. So it's much more widespread than just the brewing industry. So I think that I don't know how to improve it basically without talking about it and getting other people to be more aware of it and doing something.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that Aaron's documentary gets a bit more hold and getting people to see it, because I got a chance to watch it, and seeing the breweries from the eastern side of the country down to New Orleans, and them having difficulties, and as what you're saying, Wendy, in terms of getting the loans, getting the approvals from the city to even get the locations and be able to get approved. There was one place that had finally got approved for a plot of land, and he still doesn't have a building. It's like almost 10 years later, and he still does not have a physical location. So there's definitely a lot that you still have to go through. So I agree with that there are quite a few hurdles that have to be gone through. But having a conversation and putting it forward it's a step. I want it to be a bigger step, but it's a step. Ken, you had something?
Um, I mean, there's just everything takes a step, and everything the steps. We're not going to resolve racism tomorrow. We're not going to resolve this issue in an hour or on a 30-minute podcast. Um, But as we continue to talk about it, as we continue to promote it, and as I think the internet is used much more efficiently for this type of news information and spreading to get um, more out there, I think what we saw with the need of the Bruise Brothers or the group in Atlanta that Aaron Jose interviewed is getting the fact that people like Rob, people of color, are into these drinks and into the industry, and they might not tell each other that. They might not tell other people that because they might not feel comfortable getting into that conversation. There's like a stupid meme where you have some type of guy where when someone like a female is interested in sports and you're like, oh, you like the Detroit Lions, name three non-starters of the Detroit like no, like there's still a lot of gatekeeping in the craft beer industry, and that is going to be, I think, the biggest hurdle uh, that people of color, women, um, in the community to cross over. And it's up to people like me, who probably acted as a gatekeeper years ago, being I mean, I'm I admit that I was a shithead when I was younger. But in the same sense, I'll also admit, like, a lot of things that I say may have been misunderstood, and I accept full responsibility for it. But for me, like, I think it's the gatekeeping which stops people from even attempting. And once you stop the gatekeeping, I think you're going to have a big flood of people who were fans and friends of the industry just go through. Because sure, someone like Rob may be more comfortable, talking to the Bruise Brothers, being black, and talking to other black people about beer. But we want that crossover because that crossover is what removes barriers. Um, that was my ramble.
Well said, though.
And I mean, it's like I said, is that it has to be talked about. It's just there's definitely a lot of, I mean, I even get it from my day job's diversity day where people were talking about, just stereotypes and racism and things like that, where people were saying that, oh, I don't want to talk about it because I feel like I'm going to say the wrong thing. It's like, well, we can't sit here and deal with these issues at a third grade reading level. We got to bring shit up.
That's fair.
There is a huge difference between you saying the wrong thing and you dropping an N bomb. Let's circle back. When we were talking with Wendy, and Wendy brought up something that I said when she joined the show. Sure, I said something fucking stupid. I didn't understand that I said something stupid, and I didn't realize it until she brought it up. But she didn't be like, you're such an asshole, Ken. She was just like, hey, I didn't like this. You should be more mindful when you say something like that, and that's it. Like, you're not going to accidentally say something offensive. You're going to say something offensive, or you're going to say something where someone's going to address you and be like, that's not offensive, but you shouldn't say that. Like, just calm down.
Yeah. Just motherfuckers, don't tell me that I speak well. I'm going to kick your ass.
Oh boy.